Hello all you peoples and welcome to a new tutorial series and my only tutorial series so far. This will be on dun 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 GregTech. This is an expansion for Industrial Craft 2, which is fairly old actually. It's not a very new mod, but it's not a very old mod either. It's developed by Gregorius. I don't know if I can't pronounce his last name. Um, and it's really awesome. It's requires IC2 because it basically relies on its electricity API. But other than that, it's basically a mod by itself. It is IC2 if IC2 were developed by an angry gamer with the intent of nerfing everything, because it is the single most complex mod I have ever seen, and the single most extensive mod I've ever seen. And it will make you rage and cry with delight at the same time. Well, only rage if you have a really bad temper, but whatever. So GregTech, basically, it adds hundreds, and I mean hundreds, of new items and blocks, and this is the NEI page for it. It's huge. Look at all the machines it adds. So, yeah, that's a huge amount of stuff. And cells, too, and dusts, and tools, and plates, and ingots, and everything. That's the amount of ingots it adds. Basically, it just underwent a major update, and I used to know this mod inside and out, and now I don't. And, so let's get started. You may have noticed through all my tutorials that that you can't hear anything of Minecraft sounds. You can only hear my voice. That's a little limitation with my sound recorder, because for some reason, if I try to record my voice, then it goes all weird. Here's how I do my tutorials. I record them with a little nifty device I found online called MSI Afterburner. It's a little utility that comes with some of the MSI graphics cards, and it's available for free, and it's basically a really simple video recorder. And it'll record from Minecraft pretty easily at 60 or 30 FPS, whichever one. I record at 30 because that's what YouTube plays back at. And once I record it, the video files it records are huge because they're at maximum resolution. They're at a huge bit rate. So I down convert them using YTD Video Downloader, which is a YouTube downloader that will also convert videos for you. Again, free. And that reduces the size by about tenfold. But that has the effect of, whenever I try to record both Minecraft sounds and my own voice, it has the effect of effectively removing my voice from it and only playing back the Minecraft sounds. So but if I only record my voice and not the Minecraft sounds, then it transfers through just fine. It's really weird. It has something to do with the way YTD converts audio channels, but there's nothing better I have right now, so there's lots to do. And there's not really much you'd be hearing from Minecraft anyway, so not really a big problem for these. When I get an SSP, Let's Play series up, if I ever decide to do that sort of thing, which I probably will at some point, because I like playthroughs, then I'm going to have to figure out a way to get Minecraft sounds in, because you're going to have to hear the creepers hissing behind me as I run away. So, I'm going to have to figure out a way to do that. But for this tutorial, it's not really a big deal. If you find that it's sort of immersion breaking or something like that, let me know and I'll try and find a better utility for it, or recommend a utility in the comments, So let's get started. This is going to be part 1 of, I think, a 6 or 7 part tutorial, because GregTech is just that huge. Basically, GregTech, you know how IC2 starts the tier where you get, you get your first generator and your first copper cable, and you get some rubber trees, you build your first macerator and electric furnace? Well, for GregTech, you don't do that. You get sort of, instead of a regular generator, you get a boiler first, and then you get a steam-powered forge hammer, and a steam furnace, and a sturdy grinder. It's all steam-powered for the first era. It's not really electric power until you get to tier 2. So basically, it's a lot more interesting, and plus, in addition to adding the lower tier below IC2, it adds several tiers above IC2's high tier, like the MFSU tier. So let's get started with the Steam tier. This is going to be what the first video is on. You start out, basically what you should do is, once you get your new world, I'm going to assume you're working off of a new world, I would recommend, instead of trying to go with IC2 for ore doubling in early game, go with thermal expansion, because that's a lot cheaper in early game and a lot more efficient. Get your first ores, get your first thermal expansion machines, get your first diamonds, go to the nether, get another lava harvester up, just basically like a buildcraft pump with a couple redstone engines and an ender tank on top or whatever, what have you. Get your first lava power up with thermal expansion, then start to work on IC2. Get yourself, your first thing you should get from GregTech is a small coal boiler. That requires 5 bronze plates, a wrench of whatever type you want, 2 brick blocks, and a furnace. You're probably wondering, what are these things? Well, bronze plates are made... Oh, wrong type of bronze. I always get the wrong bronze plate. Bah! Bah! Give me the right one. There we go. There were several variants of bronze plates for some reason. GregTech just underwent a major update, and I don't know as much about it as I used to do, because I used to know this mod inside and out. And now Gregorius just changed a whole bunch of stuff up. He developed this mod by himself, by the way, with some help from the other mod authors, but he's amazing. You should go and donate to him, which I can't because I don't have a PayPal account. Anyway, bronze plates made by 2 bronze ingots and a hammer of any type. A hammer is made... You probably want to start out with either a bronze or iron hammer. An iron hammer is made from 6 iron ingots and a stick. That's pretty much, what you're going to want to have. Bronze hammers are 6 bronze ingots and a stick, and so on. So make some bronze plates. And the way you make bronze is you can either make it with the nerfed GregTech way, with 3 copper ingots to a tin ingot makes 1 bronze instead of 3, or 4, sorry. Or you can make bronze using... wrong type of bronze. You can make bronze using... not thermal expansion. Yeah, thermal expansion. In the induction smelter, which is a fairly easy machine to get, and it runs off of redstone flux. 3 copper to 1 tin ingot makes 4 Tinker's alloy ingot, and once you put that into your inventory, GregTech will forcibly convert it into bronze. So this is a lot more efficient. And one thing to note about GregTech is that it has a nifty little feature that relies on the Forge Ore Dictionary, so that any ingots or dusts in your inventory will get automatically converted into basically the standard counterpart, which is usually the one from GregTech or IC2. So any bronze, see how there's like 4 types of bronze, one from Forestry, one from GregTech, one from IC2, and one from Metallurgy, and one from thermal expansion. All those will get converted into the IC2 variant. So it's an easy way to keep your ME or chests sort of more sorted by having just 1 type of bronze ingot instead of 4 or 5. So that's an easy way to do it. So just put 2 bronze ingots of any type underneath a hammer in a crafting table, and you get 1 bronze plate. You'll get a better ratio further on, but you'll need 10 bronze ingots in total for now. So make yourself a small coal boiler. And a wrench is just made the way you make an IC2 wrench. IC2 wrenches won't work here if you already got one, sorry. So make yourself, I'd recommend a bronze wrench or iron wrench. They're just made with the Y shape of ingots, just like a regular IC2 wrench. And then you know how to make bricks in a furnace. So make your first small coal boiler and put it down in the world. Now, I would recommend playing GregTech with thermal expansion installed because it's a lot easier with thermal expansion. Get yourself an aqueous accumulator and put 2 water source blocks next to it. And I'd recommend situating your first machine somewhere in a place like that kind of has water already there, because buckets are ridiculously hard to make. With GregTech, buckets now require 3 iron plates, which are made the same way as bronze plates, with a hammer and 2 ingots, and a hammer to make a bucket. So it's not ridiculously expensive, it just costs you twice as much iron. So if you are willing to sacrifice 6 iron for 1 bucket, then go ahead and put this wherever you want. So put this down with an aqueous accumulator underneath it, and you'll right-click on it, and you'll see it has this GUI. It is orange because it is a bronze machine, and GregTech colors its GUIs whatever color the machines are. And you can paint machines, which is kind of cool. So you'll see that it has this GUI. The 3 bars in the center, the blue bar that's full is the water bar. The red bar that has a little sliver at the bottom is the heat bar. And the bar on the left that is empty is the steam bar. And the in and out slots with the cell and can icon in between them, you can put cells and cans in there for water, and then that'll allow you to put water in manually, or you can put an aqueous accumulator or a piping system or whatever you want into any side. And then you also have the two slots on the right, which are just basically furnace slots. Put coal in the bottom, or charcoal, or coal coke. They all have different burn times, just like in a railcraft steam boiler. And the little dust label slot at the top is where dark ashes come out from, and that's a byproduct. You can use those later. So let's get ourselves some coal and put it in. And you'll see the little slots on the bottom lit up, and the little flames appeared. And now this bar is going to slowly start moving up. And once it hits about, I think, a quarter of the way up, then it'll start producing steam. This, unlike Railcraft, does not have a temperature meter, so you can't tell how many Celsius it is heated up to. And so as soon as it hits a certain point, then it'll start producing steam. Steam can flow through pretty much any type of pipe. It can flow through fluid ducts, or it can flow through Buildcraft pipes, anything that's compatible with steam from Railcraft, for example. The reason that it appears these have nothing in them is because there's in the current version of the Direwolf 20 pack, which is what I'm using, there is a bug with steam textures. It either looks like a really weird colored ME crafting terminal or invisible. So you can see my whale along the top is telling me that this is a fluid duct and it has steam in it. So once you get steam in your boiler, then you want to pipe it somewhere, preferably with fluid duct, because those are the easiest to get. Opaque fluid ducts are a lot easier to get than transparent fluid ducts, but you can go with either one. Pipe these in, make your first steam machines. Make yourself a steam forge hammer, is what I'd recommend. This will hammer your ingots into plates at the same ratio of 2 to 1, but it doesn't need a hammer to do it, so it doesn't waste any durability in your hammer, and you'll never have to use more resources to build a better hammer. So it's a handy device. You'll still need your hammer for some crafting recipes, but you won't need to use it to make plates anymore. This one requires a piston, 2 bronze gears, 4 bronze plates, and a tier 1 machine hull. Now, when I say tier 1 machine hull, I mean either an aluminum, bronze, brass, or iron machine hull from GregTech, or a machine box from GregTech, or a basic machine casing from Industrial Craft 2. The machine hulls are crafted with 8 of their respective type of plates with a wrench in the middle. And the iron machine hull is uncraftable from GregTech because that is the crafting recipe for that is used by the iron machine casing from, or the basic machine casing from IC2. So that's basically the same thing. The machine box is only for later. I don't know why they have that in crafting recipe. So basically, anything that fits the Forge or Dictionary thing for tier 1 machine hull. And then the wrench, you know about that. The wrench isn't actually used up in the crafting process. It just takes some durability off of it. So just be warned about that so it doesn't use it up. So it's kind of nice. Bronze gears are made from 4 bronze plates and 4 bronze rods. Bronze rods are made from a file and a bronze ingot. So it's 1-1 ratio. Files are made with 2 of their respective type of plate and a stick. So those, and again, that tool is not used up. Any type of tool that when you mouse over it has a durability on it, then it's not going to be used up in the crafting recipe. So you're going to need 2 of these bronze gears. So that's 12 plates per gear, or 12 ingots per gear. And so that's 26 ingots for this entire machine, plus the 16 you're going to need for the machine hull. So it's quite expensive, but trust me, it's worth it. You don't ever need to use hammers again. So this is the steam-powered forge hammer. You're going to want to hook your pipes up to it in kind of an odd manner. See these little holes on the back of the machine? You can adjust their facing with a wrench. Basically, what they do is whenever the machine is active, it needs to, just like a real steam machine would, once it's used the steam to drive it, then it needs somewhere to put the used steam, the slightly cooled steam that can't be used to power anything because it's not under pressure anymore. So it has to exhaust steam out of the back. Just to demonstrate this, let's get some ingots and I'll show you. See how it's pumping out steam out the back? If I cover this, it won't function because it has nowhere to put the steam. If I uncover it, it starts doing it. It's quite fast too. If you put in 2 ingots, you notice they disappear while it's working. It's because GregTech, instead of leaving the material that's going in there while it's working on it, it will basically consume the material and then produce the output item, so you can't yank it out halfway through and cancel the crafting process. That's kind of an interesting. It has some advantages and disadvantages, which you'll see later. It's a bit more handy for automation, but it's less handy when you want to cancel a crafting process halfway through because you didn't mean to do it. But luckily, most GregTech output materials can be converted back into what they were made from. For example, you can smelt plates back down into ingots. Of course, it won't give you two because later on you can make a machine that's far more efficient and makes one ingot or one plate per ingot. But you can get your materials back. So that's the first one. You can also get steam extractors, compressors, furnaces, and macerators. Macerator is a bit expensive. It requires a diamond, 2 gears, 2 plates, tier 1 machine hull, and a piston. And you can also use a hammer and a wrench in the crafting recipe. Sturdy grinder. It's a bit more efficient than the standard pulverizer from, not Project Red, Thermal Expansion. Sorry, I keep forgetting my mod names. Been doing too many tutorials lately. This is like take 4 of this tutorial. I kept screwing it up because I messed up with the whole voice recording thing. Anyway, so basically, the sturdy grinder, it says grinding up ores and also gives byproducts. A lot of these have descriptions on them, which is kind of cool. Steam-powered extractor, steam-powered compressor, steam-powered furnace. So anyway, an early way to get steam power. Like I said, a lot of these are self-explanatory. One handy thing you might want to do is, before you get too much further into GregTech, do some exploration, find a couple dungeons. GregTech dramatically increases the amount of loot you find in dungeons. So, dungeon loot's been really severely buffed. So that means you'll find much more things like ingots and stuff. So you will probably find some steel in your dungeons. If you can find some steel, get yourself a high-pressure coal boiler, which produces much more steam and consumes more fuel than the bronze boiler. It's much more efficient. So, actually, it's not any more efficient. It's just faster. So you can power more machines with it. So this thing actually doesn't eat up fuel that fast. Doesn't eat up fuel anywhere near as fast as railcraft boilers, and it's a lot better than railcraft boilers because it doesn't consume more fuel when it's not heated up than it does when it's fully heated. It just doesn't produce enough steam. So when the boiler gets full and it doesn't have anywhere to put the steam, then it'll fill up all the top, and it'll start just exhausting steam and making hissing noises. So it won't explode. It'll just start venting steam, which is kind of cool. Next thing you're going to want to make, and the last one in the steam age, once you've made the rest of the machines you want, like a steam compressor or extractor or whatever, I'd recommend you make an extractor. Just some bronze plates, 2 pistons, and a tier 1 machine hull and a wrench. Because that'll allow you to get a lot more rubber out of your sticky resin, and trust me, it'll be useful. So the next thing you're going to want to make is a bronze blast furnace, which is this. It's a multi-block structure. If you're not familiar with multi-block structures, then they're kind of a way to make things more difficult to make without having sub-crafting recipes. Because, for example, I'm just going to call out the steam-powered forge hammer here. Then it's just a single block. It's a single block. You right-click on it, it's got a GUI, you put your stuff in, you attach power to it, and it works. The bronze blast furnace, you put it down, and for some reason GregTech machines take a few seconds to bring up their GUIs, when you first place them at least. You'll see it has a GUI, and it also has this strange little diagram off to the left of the input slots. That's a multi-block diagram. That's how GregTech does its multi-block diagrams. And it may look like nonsense, but it actually makes sense if you think about it logically. It goes from the bottom to the top. Each little diagram indicates a layer of the structure. Each orange block indicates a bronze-plated brick. Bronze-plated bricks are made from 6 bronze plates, 2 brick blocks, and a hammer. It makes 2. So you're going to need 32 of these, so 16 batches. So it's a lot of bronze, but trust me, it'll be worth it. The bronze blast furnace, you may not need it if you've already found a ton of steel in dungeons, but I'm not thinking you will unless you spend an insane amount of time adventuring. Here's how you're going to want to build your bronze blast furnace. These are some bronze blast furnae, and furnae is the correct plural of furnace. I've looked it up. These are bronze blast furnae that have been submerged 1 block into the ground, so they actually end there. So there'll be a total of 4 blocks tall when you finish them. And what you're going to do is you're going to need 1 bronze blast furnace block. But first you're going to want to build a 3x3 platform of bronze plated bricks. And you'll see they have nice connected textures. It's kind of cool. Then put your bronze blast furnace in the center of one of the straight sides here. Then basically just build it up like so until it is a total of 4 blocks tall, like that. That's how it should look. Right click on it, the GUI won't look any different. You'll see the little green block here. That's where the in the middle of the second floor of the diagram. That's where the bronze blast furnace controller block should go. That indicates that is where basically that means you are here. That's where this block is in the structure. And you'll see, by the way, over here, there's steam coming out of this. That's because its steam bar is full. It's not damaging it, it's just letting the steam out. By the way, steam will hurt you if you stand in front of it. It'll cause damage because it's hot. So just be careful not to stand in the way of your steam machine's outputs. Back to the blast furnace. The bronze blast furnace takes coal, coke, or charcoal as fuel. It's not as picky as the railcraft blast furnace. It is a lot slower than the blast furnace, the railcraft blast furnace, but it is a lot more efficient because it only uses 4 coal per ingot. It outputs dark ashes as a byproduct, and it doesn't require coal coke as fuel. So we can put coal in here along with some iron ingots, and you'll see that this turns this little block here turns orangish yellow, and this looks like it has lava in it. And it's not actually a lava source block, but it will set you on fire. Or maybe it is a lava source block, I don't know. And smoke starts coming out the top. And that's about it. You wait a couple minutes, and you get your first steel. And one thing you may have noticed about GregTech stuff is that, see how the bronze plates say SNCU3 on their tooltip? That's their molecular formula. That's what they're made out of, which is kind of cool because you can tell what stuff's made out of by looking at its molecular formula. So you can tell that bronze, which is an alloy, is made out of 1 tin and 3 copper, because the periodic symbol for tin is Sn, and the periodic symbol for copper is Cu, and that there are 3 copper in it. So that's indicating what it has in it, which is kind of cool, I feel. It's not especially useful, but it's kind of cool. So can you? Okay, you can't remove that block with a bucket. I think it's classified as a flowing lava source block, so you can't harvest it with anything, but it will still set you on fire. So beware of that. Don't jump in the top of your blast furnace, kids. Oh, and it'll incinerate stuff too. So yeah, advice for life: don't jump in the top of your blast furnace. So once you get your first steel, you'll be able to get your first electric machines. But that is a tutorial for another time. So I'm gonna end that here with my steaming coal boiler there. This was part 1 of the GregTech tutorial, and this was covering Tier 1 steam machines. Just get a couple blast furnace if you can afford it, and pop some iron and some coal in there. 1 stack of coal will do 16 iron ingots because it's 4 coal per ingot, and let it roll. Just wait for your batch of steel to come out, and you're on a roll. See you next time.